Hi, my name is Takenoshin. I was born in Tokyo, Japan, and I graduated from Tokyo Gakuge University International Secondary School, and I'll be starting Harvard at this September. So my first love was in the STEM field. I always loved mathematics, physics, but when I entered high school, I started making films, and within that time, I started to fall in love with philosophy as well. So by the time I was starting to think about college applications, I had a lot of fields that I wanted to do, mathematics, physics, film, philosophy, and so on. So I looked at many colleges in Japan, but there weren't many schools that would allow me to study all those fields. And because I wanted a liberal arts education, I decided to go to a country that could provide me with that, and that was America. For 3 years, throughout my high school life, I've been making a documentary film about nuclear power plants. And the reason I started to work on that project was a social studies class that I took in the third year of middle school. In that class, we used about a week to learn about nuclear power plants from many perspectives, from social studies, science, and so on. And at the final class, we had a discussion where we argued whether we should use nuclear energy or not. And our school, we would have a lot of discussions, but for the first time, we weren't really able to have a discussion. We weren't really able to find a consensus, I guess. And it was really close to fighting rather than a discussion. And I was really perplexed by that. I didn't understand why we can't have a discussion just in the field of nuclear energy. And so I wanted to solve that problem, and I chose filmmaking as a way to do that. Filmmaking is, I especially like shooting when I'm making films because, my documentary, even though I had a goal in my documentary to build a bridge between people who are for and against nuclear power plants, you really don't know what happens when you're shooting a film. When you're interviewing someone and you have a new question, you really stick to that question and find a person that could answer that new question that arises. And so the more you really try to go forward with that, you really don't know where the film will go. And that's what I think is very interesting, that you really can't see what will happen, and that's really the fun of filmmaking. Yeah. And the things that are hard about filmmaking, of course, is writing the script, because once you get all the footage, in a sense, they are related because, I'm making a documentary about nuclear power plants and I'm asking people about nuclear power plants, but still, because I'm interviewing both sides of the problem, I need to find a straight line that could kind of connect all those dots, And that's the script. And finding that line that connects everything, that's one of the most difficult parts in making films. So I want to study philosophy or do a double major between philosophy and film. That's because I think that philosophy and film could really help each other. I'm interested in philosophy because I want to examine film theory through philosophy, and I think that to really spread or to kind of explain my philosophy, I think that I could use films as a metaphor, as an allegory to convey my philosophy, and that's why I want to study both of them together. So after I was accepted to a few schools, I was going to these recruiting events, I guess, and at a seminar for film students, the department head was talking about how philosophy isn't an art school, it isn't a film school either, yet we do film, yet we do art. And that's my approach to filmmaking. I've never thought of myself as a filmmaker. I've never really thought of becoming a filmmaker. That wasn't a goal that I had. It's rather that I got interested in the problem of nuclear power plants, and I chose film as a way to solve the problem. So it's not that I want to look at the world through the lens of film, it's rather that I want to think first, to have an idea of the world that I'm looking at, and then convey that through film. You know, the reason I chose Harvard is that approach to film was, that's a school that most matched my approach to filmmaking. I'm excited for making friends. So, you know, I love filmmaking, and you can't make films on your own. You have your film crew, you have people that write the scripts with you, and, you know, I'm just really excited about meeting all these people who come from all over the world, who you know, are studying very, very interesting things, you know. And I think that having that very diverse crew could make a really great film. So yeah, I'm really excited for the friends that I'm going to make. So I started at the final year of high school. I did do some, you know, I did go to some events. I took the SATs once in my junior year, but I really started to think and prepare for college applications in my final year, my senior year. Yeah, so I think that the Common App, there's a very particular way of using words. You know, it's not a normal essay. You have to have that voice that could tell a story. And that's something that I had a very hard time doing when I first started to prepare for college applications. And you know, the good thing about Crimson is that you have one mentor to yourself, so it's good that you could find a story together, and that's what really helped me throughout the process. Yeah, so if you're applying to colleges in Japan, it's really easy to kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but it's easier compared to applying to, you know, for example, a school in the States, because you could really see your progress in Japan. If you're applying to colleges in America, you may have your essay, but you never know if that's perfect. And I think that's something that could really stress you out when you're in the middle of an application process. I think the important thing is to, you know, always rely on your mentors from Crimson Education, and to, again, I guess, you know, trust in yourself, trust in your essay, that, you know, trust in your story, I guess. You know, that's basically you that you're kind of trying to show in the essay. And I think if you could do that, if you could really rely on the people who are supporting you and rely on yourself, there's really nothing to be worried about in the process.